So we're going to go ahead and get started. Our presenters today are myself. I'm Kristen A., the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Episcopal Communities and Services. We have joining us today Jackie Stevens, who is the Regional Director of Life Enrichment at ECS. We have Caesar Berrigan, who is the Life Enrichment Regional Fitness Coordinator, I can't say that, and he's based out of Montecedro. And then Neil Armstrong, our Life Enrichment Fitness Coordinator, see, I can't say that word, located at the Covington. So our agenda for the day is that I'm going to introduce you to ECS. For those of you who don't know Episcopal Communities and Services, I'm going to just have a couple slides about who we are. And then we're here really to talk about what is creative living. And we're going to share with you the creative living experience you'll see from our residents. As we go through this presentation, every picture is our residents. So if you're wondering if these are real or we're just putting stock photos in there, that's not true. This is all our residents. And then we've got some specialty programming that we're thrilled to share with you. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about why people choose Episcopal Communities and Services. And you'll see after this presentation why. That's the creative living experience. And then we'll address the questions. So ECS, Episcopal Communities and Services, we began in 1923. We had one community with 23 residents, and we have been growing and innovating ever since. Just as people grow and change, so do organizations. So as you can see through these pictures, quite a difference on the picture on your left to the picture on your right. And so we as an organization continue to pursue growth and desire to provide quality homes and services to as many older adults as our resources will allow. In addition to that 100-year history, we are proudly not-for-profit. Our organization, although there is a profit margin, we put all those dollars back into our communities. So if you're looking at various communities or companies to look at their lifestyle and communities, you might want to ask this question: and what is it that annually those organizations put back into the communities? Because here at ECS, our capital improvement program annually is second to none. I have not seen anything like it. And I can say that our communities continue to grow and expand and look better and better every year versus look like they've aged. So we're very proud of that. We also serve 600 residents and employ 600 folks. That's a 1-to-1 ratio on staff and residents, which is pretty incredible. Today, we have 3 life plan communities and 1 rental community. And our business operates on 4 commitments. And those commitments are choice. It's your life, and we provide a wide variety of options so you can live it on your terms. The second is creativity. We go above and beyond, paying attention to every detail to create a colorful experience that brings out the best in you. Next, we have connection. Whether it's caring for your physical, intellectual, spiritual, emotional, or social well-being, we make sure you feel right at home. And then last, confidence. As a not-for-profit organization with experience dating back 100 years, we provide the peace of mind you are seeking. You can count on support, service, and independence no matter where you are in your journey. As I said before, we have 4 communities currently. The first is Canterbury, which is a life plan community in Ranchos Palos Verdes. And then we have the Covington in Aliso Viejo, Montecedro in Altadena, and most recently 12 Oaks, which is currently services 35 residents and is in master planning. It's our rental community. So we believe at ECS that better housing makes better communities for all of us. Over the decades, ECS has evolved into a leading not-for-profit organization that proudly offers a broad spectrum of care and services to foster good health, fulfillment, spiritual well-being in the lives of older adults. So what is creative living? That's what we're here to find out about, right? So to define for us what creative living is and the value it brings to our residents, I'm going to turn the mic over to Jackie Stevens, who will talk a little bit about why we live creatively and what that means to experience the ECS creative living lifestyle. Jackie?
Thank you, Krista. I'm Jackie Stevens. I am the Regional Director of Life Enrichment for ECS, and I'm based out of Montecedro. And I am so happy to be here to showcase creative living because we truly believe in the mission that we set forth to do, which is to give our residents their best life. There is a reason why we call our department Life Enrichment, because what we do truly does enrich both our team members and the lives of those we serve, our residents. As you can imagine, we spend much time in senior living studying longevity and wellness. For many years, since the 1970s, in fact, we have had the 6 dimensions of wellness to guide us. This concept was the root of the methodology and thinking we use today to approach health and wellness in our communities. It states that wellness is conscious. We make a conscious effort to engage in our health and well-being. It is self-directed. The doctor doesn't simply prescribe a regimen and instantly we are healthy and well. We take an active role in living the regimen daily while pursuing healthy interests. Wellness is holistic, encompassing the mental, spiritual, emotional, environmental influences within our lifestyle. And it is an evolving process as our needs change over time. If you watched our webinar last month featuring Dr. Trin from Irvine Clinical Research, you heard him say that the latest research shows that lifestyle has a greater impact on health and aging outcomes than your genetics do. For that reason, ECS provides the space and place to make it convenient, fun, and simple to apply the necessary measures and engage in activities that will ultimately determine our longevity outcomes. Such things as daily exercise, diet modifications, quality sleep, stress management, and the pursuit of connection and purpose. Along with these things come various lifestyle pursuits, which have been proven to set up cognitively for successful aging. Sorry, I'm stumbling a bit here. Prior to the 1980s, it was thought that our brains stopped developing in early childhood before 2 or 3 years old. We now know that the brain regenerates new neurons and connections to deal with stress, cognitive challenges, and age-related decline throughout our entire lifespan. This is great news because it means we are able to form new brain cells as we age, a process called neurogenesis. I'm going to bring in Caesar now, who is our Regional Director of Fitness, to explain this further.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Hi, I'm Caesar Berrigan. Just you may have heard before, I'm the Regional Fitness Coordinator for ECS and housed here at Montecedro. Now, you may have heard of these two terms, neoplasticity and cognitive reserve. These two concepts work hand in hand. And here are 2 quotes from recent publications and studies. The top one from Harvard Health Guide to Cognitive Fitness says, you can think of cognitive reserve as your brain's ability to improvise and to find alternate ways of getting jobs done. You see, when the brain forms and reorganizes synaptic connections, especially in response to learning, experiences or in some cases injuries such as stroke can happen. And this is called neuroplasticity. The more cognitive reserve we have, the more plastic our brains and the better we are able to cope with aging. The concept of cognitive reserve originated in the late 1980s when researchers described individuals with no apparent symptoms of dementia, who were nonetheless found at autopsy to have brain changes consistent with advanced Alzheimer's disease. These individuals did not show symptoms of the disease while they were alive because they had large enough cognitive reserve to offset the damage and continue to function as usual through neurogenesis and neuroplasticity. This kind of brings a story of one of our residents, Pat, who was very, very worried about having to go through these effects later on in her life. When we first met, she had a couple of injuries, mainly her entire right side of the body, had trouble walking, had some foot issues, knees and hips, and was fearing that she might have to use a walker in the future. But, through conversation and through just confidence building with taking our classes, fortunately, she now doesn't have to worry about using a cane or using a walker. Instead, she's now taking our boxing classes, our Tai Chi classes, and our Kung Fu classes, and is one of the most active residents here at Montecedro. So here we have a multi-pronged approach that reaps holistic benefits, and this is showing that exercising increases circulation to the brain and promotes cognitive reserve and then fuels healing and strength.
So to take it over from there, I'm Neil Armstrong, Covington Fitness Coordinator. So all of those wonderful benefits that Caesar just mentioned are really, really important goals, and it's goals that we try and help realize for people here. So no matter the impact essentially from just our lives, our diets, stress, toxins, etc., we believe that if there's a way to contribute and offset this damage of aging, inflammation, illness, you name it, and create an environment, fueled by science, research, where we can all come together and take part of this process together, we all grow. We keep growing as we age. And it doesn't have to be a story of, decline, but it's a story of growth and improvement. So with all that said, that's where we move into creative living, which I'll pass it to you, Jackie.
Thanks, Neil. At ECS Life Plan Communities, we have implemented the Creative Living Academy to facilitate all of the aspects of experiential stimuli, which build cognitive reserve and strength in the body. This program delivers diverse and stimulating opportunities for lifelong learning, growth, and fulfillment in an accessible atmosphere that is welcoming, inclusive, and respectful to everyone in our community at every level of care. It provides educational, cultural, and recreational offerings while harnessing the wealth of knowledge, talent, and experience of all of our residents, and fosters collaboration with our partner resources in the greater community. On this page, you're going to note a number of amazing organizations that are surrounding each of our communities. These are some of the examples of our Southern California partnerships. Our partners are one of the cornerstones of what makes our Creative Living program at our community so incredibly special. They work with us to create once-in-a-lifetime presentations, outings, and events for our residents. Not only do they provide amazing experiences, they also provide our residents with the opportunity to explore and volunteer in new opportunities to create purpose in their life. To give you an example, we are partnered with Friends Indeed. It is a nonprofit that serves neighbors in our community through food donations, school supply drives, and assistance with those looking to make changes in their life. And I wish I could turn my camera around right now because my office looks like a Staples office supply store from donations for the back to school drive that I'm referring to as I talk right now. These school supplies will be donated to Friends Indeed, and they will be distributed through a project for the students in the schools that are in the surrounding neighborhood of our community. So the connection is really nice because those are the exact same students that actually go to the schools where our residents volunteer. Seen in the next photo, you will see 3 of our residents wearing Cat in the Hat hats, which is one of my favorite photos because these were 3 of our volunteers reading for Dr. Seuss Day at Altadena Elementary School across the street. I have to admit it's one of my favorites because not only are they having an incredible time volunteering, but it also enhances the lives of our youngest neighbors right next door. So I just wanted to make sure I told that story because it really is an amazing program. The resident experience in our communities was robust, engaging, forward-thinking, and without limits. We strive to offer everything from a relaxing afternoon watching a movie to a weekend zooming around the track in an IndyCar or NASCAR. A bit of something for everyone with an eye toward providing choices and opportunities. In fact, we have heard more than once, there is so much to do, how do I choose? Neil?
So, as you can see, our program isn't just about being creative with paint, clay, wood, or even words. It's about continuing to grow and doing things that are different and at a higher level than you might maybe perceive you could do. So we don't plan calendars for people, but instead we ask residents, what do you want to do? And if an answer is something that we haven't done, we do our best to make it happen. So our residents are encouraged to be not just our teachers, but also collaborators. And in fact, they volunteer as Creative Living Academy advisors, and they assist with the development and the direction of programming. Additionally, their ideas are brought to life across all levels of care. And if we move to the next slide, you'll see a little event that I helped put together at sort of the suggestion of some of our residents who participate in the Alzheimer's Walk every year. And this was the first year that we got shut down with COVID. So as you can see, we're all masked up and everything, but this was a whole community-wide event where not just independent living was involved, but memory care, assisted living. And those shirts that you see in the top right were actually tie-dyed by our residents over in memory care. And we all got together and walked, and we adhered to, you know, the strict rules and everything, but we made it happen. And it was a really, really beautiful, special day where we got to celebrate our community and being able to do something like this during COVID. So I'll pass back to Jackie.
So next, we're going to highlight some of our specialty programming across our campuses. So when we talk about specialty programming, we take a bit of a deeper dive into the Creative Living Academy and what it makes it so incredibly unique. Some of our special offerings include our robust and ever-growing on-demand library, our Everyone Has a Story program, our You Creative Art program, theater groups, ukulele, and choir groups, as you can see in these photos. Also the men's breakfast and lunch, our current events program, our One World program, and our By Your Side program, to name just a small fraction of the ones we offer. To illustrate the role our residents have in our specialty planning, let me give you a couple of examples. Our One World program was born from Pride Month in 2021 during COVID, when our residents expressed a desire to learn about the LGBTQIA+ community. We offered lectures, documentaries, and various other events to create a learning environment for not only our residents, but ultimately also our staff. From there, the One World program has grown to include deep dives into conservation, climate change, and death and dying. Part of the Death and Dying series focused on our own By Your Side program that offers specialty training for residents who would like to be end-of-life companions. Not only do those residents volunteer in that capacity, but also in our memory care units. All of these ideas came from one simple documentary called Gender Revolution, and it spawned an entire program that has now lasted nearly 2 years. And the conversation continues as we move forward into the fall months with new programming and new offerings through the One World program. So one moment in time in our buildings can create a program that lasts across years. Here are a few images of events we also offer in-house to give you a look at the variety of opportunities our residents have. We have casino nights. One year we had an all-girls band who played the Rose Bowl visit. They were part of the Band Cares program, and they came to us all the way from Finland. We have painting and candy making. We have events centered around different cultures and their wonderful holidays like Lunar New Year. And we have live musical events. And to add to the variety, we also have our bucket list, which is unique to ECS. It is for our risk takers and our adventurers. And I do have to say right now, because you're going to see a picture on the next slide in a minute of one of our 90+-year-olds. She's actually 96, who is one of our most adventurous, because our 90+-year-olds are the ones who partake the most in our crazy, crazy ideas. Because the bucket list itself focuses on offerings and experiences that residents may not have had the opportunity to have in their life, but really have always wanted to do. In these photos, you will see IndyCar ride-alongs. You will see a photo of residents gathered around a small go-kart when they visited Auto Club Speedway to watch the kart races and the young future drivers in different race series. In the bottom, you'll see one of our residents holding a bird of prey on her hand. Also a trip up to Mount Wilson to view through the telescopes with Carnegie Observatory is one of our partners. And in the bottom corner, which actually this is really timely because Top Gear was just released, our residents in fighter planes, in flight suits, be dog fighting each other in a simulator. So that was an incredibly crazy experience to watch. So as you can see, you can also throw a ball on the field at Sophie Stadium. take some yoga classes with some cute bunnies or goats or even some chickens. And I will have to add that the bunny in that picture is indeed a real live bunny, not a stuffed animal. And the wonderful resident I just mentioned in the bottom corner wearing the helmet, Jean, is a lovely 96-year-old, and she is by far in any of our buildings the biggest risk taker and has done every single bucket list event we have placed in front of her. Our trips and tours are varied. We visit local landmarks, museums, and even out of the way specialty locations. In these photos, the dugout at Dodger Stadium, a control room at JPL, the Lost Spirits Distillery, which if you haven't heard of it before, it's kind of like Willy Wonka for adults. And now the last one in the bottom is the USS Iowa. I'm going to turn over the microphone now again to Neil.
All right, so as I kind of touched on a little bit, we've been dealing with the pandemic. So you might have wondered, how did we handle all of this? How do we create these amazing events when everything is shut down? So Caesar and I will give you an overview of not just the creativity, but the incredible teamwork our communities used to keep providing great opportunities and events during very stressful and uncertain times. So the short version is, first, we all took a nice, long, deep breath, and then we started a YouTube channel, which Caesar, you can finish over on.
Thanks a lot, Neil. So one of the biggest questions we heard at the beginning of the pandemic was, how do I stay with my fitness routine? And in answer to that, we created an on-demand library of fitness videos utilizing our in-house fitness professionals as well as our vendors, so that our residents could continue to work out with their favorite instructors. And as you can see here on this screen, there's also entertainment videos and original programming in this library. All of this is available on demand on YouTube and in our in-house system called Touchtown. All can be viewed from their televisions and personal devices such as phones, laptops, and iPads. So our fitness during the pandemic, one of our Canterbury residents in the picture on the left illustrates the impact of our on-demand videos on her life. We're so proud of her because she made fitness gains and improvements during the pandemic using the on-demand videos. And this is just one story of many across all communities. She was so excited to meet me after a year of working with me via her television. Here's a little video from that. Here we go. I'm not sure if you can hear that okay, but she was mentioning how much she appreciated having somebody on her TV that can guide her through the exercises, and was just very excited to meet me, and just so happens that we caught her on video saying all that.
Caesar, you're being very shy. She actually said that you were her TV movie star. So that's actually what she said in the video.
Okay. Oh, thanks for that, Jackie. I want to go ahead and go on to the next video. One of our most comfortable environments for fitness became our balcony events, which you'll see here in the middle, wearing a costume. You can't really make it out from the back here, but I'm wearing a pirate's outfit. And can we try for the video on this one? Here we go. There we go. That's me doing the Frankenstein, and our residents know me for doing goofy dances during exercise, and they just love to just join along. So if you can kind of see what they're doing the same thing I am, and everybody's dressed to the nines. And this is just before Halloween, so we made it a point for everybody to get dressed up. And you can see on the right-hand side some of our residents. I think we have Jean there dressed up as a butterfly. Also, the whole life enrichment team was behind me there. You don't see them, but they were there also dressed to the nines and just being very supportive and helping me out with it. And one of the biggest things is humor. humor got us through a lot during the pandemic. We'll go ahead and play this video in a bit. Not only were our teams game for supporting our outdoor fitness efforts, but they also ran around in costumes just to add a little bit more humor. We kind of had to put them up to it just to put smiles on our residents' faces. So here we have our team gearing up because we're going to different balconies in our community and just playing music for them. We created dance routines. We dressed up. We made it a point to kind of have specific dance moves for all of our residents to participate, so they knew kind of ahead of time what they were going to do. You can kind of see there. Here we go. We got a little routine going, and here's a snapshot of our team. But here's the big kicker there. Putting on these costumes in the hot sun was not very comfortable, but I mean, it just shows that our team was very game and up to doing crazy stuff. I'm going to hand it back over to Jackie now.
So humor and safe fun really did become a cornerstone of connecting with our residents. Another favorite entire community staff and resident game that we launched was called Find Covey. We hid COVID lookalikes all over the building and asked all of the finders of them to snap selfies or pictures of themselves, and we turned it into a video. You can actually find that video on the Montecedro YouTube page. Crystal will refer to all of our social media channels later in this presentation, so if you want to check it out, you can. Also, in addition to events, we found ways to make celebrating building milestones like birthdays, hallway happy hours, and even delivering personalized and special gifts to our residents. So from here, we held Zoom training classes teaching all of our residents how to access Zoom on their computers, phones, and tablets. And then we dove into full calendars and catalogs via the virtual world. It only took each community about 2 to 3 months to go from ground zero of COVID ramped up to full calendars in the virtual format and outdoors. So it was really quite remarkable how all of the teams rallied. And then finally, as the world began to open up, we provided live events in larger spaces with masks and social distancing. Our goal throughout the entire pandemic was to keep everyone connected and enjoying life. Now I'm going to hand our presentation over to Caesar, who's going to again take you back through some offerings in our fitness department. Caesar?
Thank you very much, Jackie. Well, as a leading element of life enrichment, we aim to diligently deliver exercise programs to our residents, regardless of ability, and bringing them to a higher level of fitness and well-being, which is a major part of living your best life. And we aim to take the fear and intimidation out of exercise. We provide individualized attention in the gym and deliver classes that are ever evolving to fit the skill and ability of our residents. There truly is a class for everyone, and everyone can participate. The programs are reassessed annually to create new challenges for the community, which continues to empower our residents through fitness. Now, in these photos, we are going to highlight some of our favorite classes here in Montecedro. Up on the left-hand corner, you can see all of our residents performing a plank on the chair there, kind of like a push-up hold. This is our class called Higher Fitness, which is our a class level 3, which is the most challenging class on our schedule. And as you can see, it's a packed house. It's a very popular class, and it continues to be that way. Down below that is our Tai Chi class, and there we have Fenton in the front instructing. He also teaches our Kung Fu class along with our Tai Chi, and it's a very cool class. All of our residents who take both really understand the benefit and love to participate. And in the middle of our slide here, we have a boxing class called Golden Punch. And the turnover from Tai Chi and Kung Fu that come into the boxing class, everybody kind of just cooperates, going back and forth between all three classes. And it's been a real blast teaching something that I've known about since I was 5 years old, boxing that is. and teaching it here for our residents. And over on the right-hand side, we have our class called Just Motion, which is all seated, very simple and basic movements. And below that is our balance class, and you can see all of our residents being challenged here, standing on one foot, but still with the safety of a chair, and smiling at the same time. So when we talk about taking away the fear of exercise, it means we add a personal touch. Every resident spends 2 hours with our training team so that they feel confident using all of the equipment we have accessible to them. They receive a personalized plan tailored to their unique fitness level and goals, and feel comfortable working out on their own. And in these photos, you will note 3 different levels of fitness and the care and attention we provide for each, from our memory care residents to our most active. And I'm going to pass it back over to Neil.
Thank you, Caesar. So as you can see, we have different communities, different offerings for classes, but no 2 communities are going to be the same in what those classes might be. So we customize and create our classes to suit the residents we have in each community. So for example, in the picture you're looking at, that's one of my classes I teach, which is called cardio drumming. And it actually started at the request of a resident's daughter. And I picked it up. I've been a musician for the past 10 years, so this was like a natural fit for me to teach. And I mean, we have awesome music and we beat on the drums. It's great for coordination and people just love it. So, and if there's an example of a class, say that I don't teach, or maybe Caesar doesn't teach, we can acquire different vendors to bring them in, which again, just helps to better serve the needs of our residents. So some of these might include cardio drumming, as I mentioned, Tai Chi, Pilates, goat yoga, boxing, Kung Fu, yoga, and really whatever else the suggestion may be. So with that said, I can pass it back to Krista.
Thank you, Neil. Oh my goodness. I mean, looking at all these pictures, who doesn't want to be a resident at one of our communities? So much fun. And, you know, you can join us on our, I'm going to give you some information about how to kind of do some research on your own and follow us on Facebook. But again, you know, why did these residents choose ECS? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about why those that you saw chose our organization. And creative living, I have to tell you, is one of the biggest benefits of being a resident at one of our communities. The ECS difference is what we hear from our residents is that they are very proud of where and how they live. As you can imagine, who wouldn't want to do all these things, right? And then the families, especially for those who need a little bit of assistance, perhaps in our memory care or skilled nursing, trust that their loved ones are with us. As I had mentioned before, we are not for profit, and we do focus on reinvesting, which is very important. And again, I encourage you to ask that question to any communities that you're looking into. And then we hold the highest credit rating in the industry. We're rated by Fitch. We have an A- rating, which only about a handful of California communities have that, and then a couple dozen across the country. So that's very important. We are financially strong. In fact, look out for your postcard that you'll receive, because we're going to do a webinar on that in August. So stay tuned for that. And then there'll always be diversity and inclusion of serving all people and all beliefs and faiths at our communities. And we're very proud of that. So let's get social. As you know, there's a YouTube channel out there. If you look at our website, you go to ECSforseniors.org, and then you can follow any of our communities. You can click on, you know, communities, and then we've got the Canterbury here, and their Facebook, it's called a handle. If you go to Facebook, whether it's the app or online, and then just type in the Canterbury, and you will get information and our postings of the Canterbury, certainly the website. Then we have, again, Canterbury is located in Ranchos Palos Verdes. And then the Covington, again, same thing. So at the Covington Retirement is their handle on Facebook. And then the website is thecovington.org, and they're located in Aliso Viejo. Look at all those fun pictures. And then we have Montecedro, and it's at Montecedro Retirement, the website, montecedro.org, located in Altadena. And look at all the fun pictures there. I know we're going through this fast. We will have a recording of this presentation sent to you. Last but not least, we also have 12 Oaks, and it's at 12 Oaks SL. That's for senior living, and the website is 12oaks.org and located in Glendale. And so this presentation will be ready. We're going to have a video recording of it. We'll get that out to you, and then it'll land on our events page under past events on our website. That'll take about maybe 5 business days to get that to you. So it's coming. And with that, we're going to go ahead and answer some questions. I see that there's a couple in the chat, so I encourage you to, if you have comments, questions, use that chat function. If you scroll down to the bottom of your screen, the chat icon is in the middle. And then if you click on that, you can type in a question for us. So I do see here that Asha, you wanted to schedule a tour at the Aliso Viejo, the Covington location. We have your information based on your RSVP, so I will have Jasmine, Tracy, or Ida reach out to you. You will get a call no later than tomorrow to schedule that. And we are happy to have you and encourage all of you who are on this webinar to schedule tours at any or all of our communities. They're all very unique and different. And as Neil said, each community does kind of its own thing. We do have programs that everybody does, but they're all unique and really driven by the residents who live there at the time they live there. So, you know, I've been with the organization for about 7 years, and at communities we've had a readers theater or a Follies or a talent show on some years, and some years we don't. So it just depends on who the residents are and what they want to do. So here it says your presentation indicated the population of 600, and that is for all sites. So it's 12 Oaks, the Canterbury, the Covington, and Montecedro. 600 residents total, 600 staff. So, and then Asha's question here is cost explained at the visit. Yes, we can go over, each community has various contracts, and it's all based on size and location. We've got several floor plans at each community. We've got cottages at the Covington. So it all depends on, you know, what floor, what location, the size of the accommodation. There's various contracts to review. So we're happy to go through that with you. Any other questions or comments? We thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to follow up with you after this presentation if you're not comfortable asking here. Pets, there was one question here. Pets partake in creative living? Yes, actually they do. We have, we actually just had a pet parade over Halloween at the Covington. And obviously Jackie showed you the goat yoga. We had the rabbits and the chickens this last Easter. So lots of, and then we have pet visitation. We have dog visits to our memory care and assisted living. So a lot of, a couple of years ago, we actually celebrated a birthday with a horse at the Covington. So you just never know. Let's see, minimum age is 62. That was a question here. How do we find the activities currently at the Canterbury? So we can find those. One, you can reach out to your salesperson, either Audra or Patty at the Canterbury. You can go into if you go to Facebook and you do the handle at the Canterbury, you can find the postings there. But we're happy to send you a creative living catalog or calendar that you can see that. But we would love to review our activities or programming at any of the communities, because they're all very different and unique, as we said. So what other questions, comments? Again, so much fun. We encourage you to come see and experience the creative living programming at our communities. Thank you again, Jackie and Neil and Caesar. We appreciate your time. This is fantastic. You guys run an amazing program. So I encourage everyone to come see us. Thank you.